Wait, hold on. Michael Mann hasn't released a film since 2015? Oh, well, then I gotta see this one. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. We continue this award film season. My next film is Ferrari, which I saw yesterday. Ferrari is a new film from director Michael Mann, who has not released a film since 2015 in Black Hat, which most people would regard as being his worst film. Public Enemies comes before that, with Collateral. He's got hits with Collateral, Insider, and Heat, obviously. Those being the big three. Ali is another one of those. Michael Mann's one of those directors. He's one of those guys, for me, that if I see his name, I'm going to go see it because he's earned the cachet with me that he's been tried and true. Even with Black Hat, there's some things that I like about it, but overall, story wasn't quite where it needed to be, and he's even come out to admit that so much. Like, that story went to being filmed before it was pretty much gone through the ringer of directing. That said, he's back with Ferrari, which is sports bio. Good old award season. He cranks out those sports bio films, but it's a sports bio about Enzo Ferrari, starring Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz. Penelope plays his wife Laura as Enzo, and Laura, it picks up, shows a race, and then it picks up basically within 10 years after their initial marriage, and their money that they built this entire Ferrari legacy on is starting to sort of falter, and they're bleeding out money. They have to figure out what to do next. Their marriage is falling apart. Enzo is apparently a ladies' man, and she's okay with that, as long as he is still doing the things that he's supposed to be doing for the business, and that he's at home at a certain time so that you can live up and pretend that the visage or mirage that they're throwing up is still up to par. They have just lost a son. It's the only son that Laura had, and it was supposed to be sort of the heir, and it's somebody that Enzo truly, truly loved. Of all the people that I think he loves in this film or in his life, it's his kids. And losing his son has done a damage to both him and his wife, and then the relationship that they had together. She blames him for a health situation that neither of them can do anything about, but they kind of just, they don't talk to each other. And Enzo puts his love in other women, and a woman that he has subsequently loved and had a child with. So what this movie does, let me say this. This movie is very much a standard romantic biofilm. Like a romance triangle exists in this movie. And that piece of it is kind of by the books. There's nothing really new or upended or any earth-shattering thing that happens there. It's all old hat. You've seen it done before. You've seen it done here. It's done very well because Michael Mann is a masterful director, and it looks beautiful. And you have phenomenal performances. I'm going to say this. I'm going to scream this from the rooftops. I hope someone else hears it. Penelope Cruz deserves every freaking nomination she can get for this. She is brilliant in this movie. It's simple, just nuances of her head turn or her mouth moving or the way that she holds. It's everything she's doing with her face, everything she's doing with the way she walks, how much she's been weighed down. It is all, every choice she makes here is beautiful. Adam Driver does well as well. We've seen Adam Driver do well before, and we've seen him do better performances, but he is very much I'm going to be the quote unquote straight man, even though this is not a comedy, but I'm going to be the straight man in this, while Penelope Cruz is just giving it her all. That's the dramatic piece of it. The other piece of this is the racing, and is Michael Mann. Man, he can film. That man is a director. There are shots in this that are stunning to look at. The final race of this film goes through rain and residential areas and mountaintops, and each scene piece of it feels lived in, feels so real and tangible, and like you can tell that Michael Mann was getting the real shot. And yeah, you have to use CG when you can. And sometimes I will say maybe it's because of the budget. Sometimes you can see those threads. Sometimes you can see the CG or you can see where the dummy is being used. That's okay because they didn't deter from what the movie itself was doing. It also does a real good job of using interspersing when black and white is used, because at this point in time, that's all that TV was used. Everything feels lived in. You're seeing the old school cameras. Like Michael Mann is one of those directors that spares no expense. But I know back in the day in Collateral, he would have people, Jamie Foxx, taking taxi classes and courses. So he's very much into like, you're going to feel the realism of all of this. And so the realism of racing is not lost upon me. It is mixed in with a very by the book romance drama, relationship drama. Because I don't want to say romance necessarily, because it's a relationship drama, because Enzo has a different sort of relationship with both Laura and with Linda, who's played by Shailene Woodley, who does great too. She has a great scene where she sort of reflects and is like, hey, if you met me now versus when you met me, I may not have been the person to go home with you. I may not have been in this situation. And that's such a poignant moment to sort of have. Sometimes when you have mistresses, they're like, I'll be the mistress for life. She's like, you got me at a time when I was okay with being a mistress. But now that I see what's on the other side, now that I see what harm is done, I wouldn't be that same person, which is something you don't truly see. So it's a couple of things that are a bit new. But for the most part, the way that these things go are all structural, but it's all held together by the fact that Penelope Cruz is doing some phenomenal work here. So on my scale of Play It Again, Sam, I didn't mind that. Once is enough, or give me a time stone so I never have to think about this film again. This is another one of those Play It Again, Sam. I don't know if it's going to be in my top 10. We'll have to see when I finally compile that list. But it's pretty high up there. And it's good to sort of see Michael Mann return back to form, as I think both Blackhead and Public Enemies, which were the last two, aren't of the higher caliber of Michael Mann films. And I also don't know where it ranks in his stuff. I have Heat, Collateral, and Insider at the very top. That's like the best of the best of Michael Mann. Ali would be that next step down. This feels like it's right there next to Ali. Still a great movie, and it probably blows most other people's films away. But I have to sort of look to see where I put it on the top 10. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I think you should check it out. And I also think just for the racing sequence alone, you probably should see this in the theater. This kind of loses a little bit more of that steam. If you're seeing just the relationship and then the scaled down version of the races on TV or however you watch. What did you guys see Ferrari? What did you guys think? Or leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. It's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other place podcast. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.